Hello. If you could type a hello in the chat. Don't give that guy any money, man. We've got the most annoying street busker in the world here. This scam merchant here. He isn't even playing live. Mark, good morning, Mark. Good afternoon. Barbie, good morning. Agatha, good morning. Good afternoon, whatever it may be. Welcome to Glasgow. Diane, Walpuri, hello there, long time no see. This guy here is doing my head in. I actually want to set about him with an axe. I actually want to give him a Glasgow kiss. Hello Anne, how's it going? Yeah, the one thing that really annoys me about Glasgow, I'm just going to start moaning at the start, okay? Just to get it off my chest. The one thing that really annoys me about Glasgow is the loudness of the street buskers. They are the loudest street buskers in the world in Glasgow. We are much more refined in Edinburgh than these Ouija's. Suzanne, hey Suzanne, won't you marry me? Oh, I've gone to Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Pop her in to say hello before I take two of the puppies to the vet for their booster shots. Ah, good luck. Hopefully it's not too traumatic for them, poor puppies. Hello Cheryl, how's life? I'm in enemy territory today. Look. In Edinburgh. The Ouija's. It is a really friendly city, I'm not denying that. The people are fantastic. The people really do make Glasgow, as we'll find out on this tour. But yeah, the street buskers do mind nothing. So I just want to get that off my chest. My rant is over for the day. This is where all the public protests take part, by the way. If you're ever in Glasgow, there's a protest going on, they tend to meet here. Sometimes this whole street is filled with, what do you call it? Protesters. That's the word I'm looking for. Protesters. And do you know that comes from Protestants, by the way? The protesters were Protestants because they were protesting. Protestant. I'm full of useless information, aren't I? So this is on Sauchiehall Hall Street, Street of the Willows. See what I mean about the busker, man? I have to compete with the busker to try and concentrate on what I'm talking about, and it's virtually impossible. The defibrillator, that's a good idea. So anyway, I went for a bacon roll and a coffee earlier on up Sauchiehall Hall Street, Street of the Willows. And some big police incident happened. Don't know what was going on with the police. But look at this, this is a good idea. An outdoor defibrillator. You just phone up the number. Traumatic for them. You mean me? I know what term about it. It's almost worse, eh? That's a good idea. So you just phone up and ask for the code. You don't need to have training to use a defibrillator. You do get it when you do your first aid training. Look at this social bite, everyone. In a roundabout kind of way, it's thanks to this organisation that I am a tour guide here today. They featured on that Netflix programme, what's it called? Somebody Feed Phil. They featured in Edinburgh in Social Bite. Inverness Tours, no. Oh, on YouTube. Oh, I'll need to check. Inverness is a really small place, Suzanne. As long as you can find the river, you won't get lost. You just head down the way to the river. And as long as you can find the river, you won't get lost. And there's a big castle there quite high up on the riverside. Well, it's not really a castle, it's a sheriff courtroom. Or it was the council buildings, but it's getting changed into a visitor attraction. So as long as you can find the castle and the river, you can't get lost in Inverness, or Inversnecky as we call it. See this, look? They give out free food. If you're experiencing homelessness or need access to food, join us Monday to Friday between 8 o'clock and 9:30. And Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday between 4:30 and 6 o'clock, I think it was. They do a nice mac and cheese toast in there, actually. Yeah, do a nice mac and cheese. They've actually put some of my flyers in this morning. I gave them some flyers to put out for me. I know we're in Glasgow, but I thought I'll ask them, because people from Glasgow go to Edinburgh as well, you know what I mean? So that social bike, they help the homeless people. They're a social enterprise that started in Edinburgh. And at their peak, they had 2 shops in Glasgow, 3 in Edinburgh, 1 in Aberdeen. And now after COVID, they've only got 1 in Glasgow, I think. 1.5 in Edinburgh. And but they opened up in London, so that's quite good. They opened up in London, so they've got a social bite in London as well. They have like a pay it forward scheme, you know, where you go in and you can get a meal or a snack and then pay for somebody else to go in. You buy a voucher for a £5 or something like that. And we're now into Buchanan Street, Glasgow. I can hardly hear myself talk because this guy's so loud, man. And he's not even playing live. It's just a recording. We moved on to Buchanan Street now. This is Donald Dewar here. Susan. Cheryl, welcome to Glasgow. This is Donald Dewar. He was the very First Minister. See, look, he's leaving playing. Look, he's leaving playing. His hands are not even on it. Look, Chancellor, man. Yeah, he was the very First Minister of Scotland. He actually died on the job. When Scotland got a parliament in 1997, he was elected the First Minister. And I think it was a brain aneurysm he died of. He was supposed to be a socialist, of course. I met him on his first day at work when he became First Minister. Susan is my sister. Oh, hello, Susan. Barbie's sister. The First Minister. Susan MacDonald. Hello, Susan. Another MacDonald, the dodgy MacDonald clan, of course. One of Scotland's most fearsome warrior clans, descended from the Vikings. Fearsome warriors were the MacDonalds. Of course, the vast majority of them were nowhere to be seen at the Jacobite rebellion at the Battle of Culloden, like enough. Like a lot of the clans, they were hedging their bets in the MacDonalds. But yes, they're one of Scotland's better known clans. But different clans around Scotland, you know. We've got different MacDonald clans as well. A true gentleman would never play the accordion. How long did it take to get to Glasgow from Edinburgh? It took 45 minutes on the train. It cost me £11.90. So if anyone wants to cover my train fare, £11.90 please as a tip. I'm actually going through, I'm here to, we're doing some training sessions with Invisible Cities. But it's very hard to recruit tour guides in Glasgow that have been homeless. A lot of the guides, a lot of the potential trainee guides, they've still got quite chaotic lifestyles. You know, a lot of them have got like addiction problems, which is okay if it's under control. But if it's not under control, you know, it's one of the difficult ones. So I'm here to do some training sessions with we've only got 2 turned up, unfortunately. 2 trainee guides have turned up, that's all. So it's not the best. But yeah, Glasgow's the biggest city in Scotland. I think it's like about 170, 160, 150 square miles. Edinburgh's 100 square miles. 640,000 as opposed to 550,000. And it's got the 3rd oldest subway in the world. Look at this. Look at this. This is the 3rd oldest subway station in the entire world. Only Budapest and London are older than the Glasgow Underground. But look at this, everyone. It's really easy to use. You've got the outer circle and the inner circle. So if you miss your stop, you just get off and go back to where you came from on the next train that turns up. Its nickname is the Clockwork Orange. It just goes round in a circle. It's the most simplest subway system in the world to use, but it's the 3rd oldest in the world. Well, you can even see all the Gaelic names: Ibrox, Badgers, Brox is a badger, Kelvin Bridge, Cowcaddens, Buchanan Street, Enoch, of course, as well. Yeah, it's a really simple to use subway. The average ticket's about just over £2, I think it is, if I remember correctly. £2.15 or something. They're not street buskers. Some of the street buskers you've got are excellent, by the way, through in Glasgow. You get some good singers through here. Sophie Gibson. You can't afford to lose a day or two. When will you realize Sophie Gibson. You see that pigeon there just about flew right into me? Jesus God, that pigeon must know I'm from Edinburgh. I'm getting attacked by a Ouija pigeon. Jesus God, I'm under attack. World War Z was filmed here. You know, the zombie movie with Tom Cruise? That was filmed here. The latest Indiana Jones movie was just filmed here as well. Let's watch Indiana Jones movie. You'll see Glasgow features in it. They filmed the new Batgirl movie here as well. Just last year, they spent £35 million on the movie, right? And they put it to the audience, the cinema, right? They'd done a test show and it got such bad reviews, they scrapped a whole lot of it. Look at this, Nelson Mandela Place. This used to be the site of the South African embassy. It used to be called St George's Place, or Square. George's Place. And during the Nelson Mandela period, when Nelson Mandela was locked up for 27 years, the Glasgow local authorities changed the name just to annoy the South African embassy. So every time the South African embassy got a letter sent to them, it was addressed to Nelson Mandela Place. It pissed off South Africa so much they decided to move. How cool is that? Helsinki has one straight line and it makes a Y shape in the east, is that correct? Great for charity pub crawls. So you'll see here the sandstone buildings, the red sandstone and the yellow sandstone. Some lovely architecture in Glasgow as well. Some of it's very Georgian and neoclassical like Edinburgh. But look at this, controversial. Anyone from Canada watching? Or anyone got one of these statues in their house? Look at this. Caused quite a lot of controversy when it come here. Do you recognise the figure? It's a Canadian artist, Timothy Schmaltz, I don't know how to pronounce it. Look, see the... Oh, hey, what's going on? Gimbal didn't like that. What are you doing, Gimbal? Do as you're told. You see the mark in the feet? Yeah, it was a Canadian artist in Toronto, Timothy Schmaltz. Well, the gimbal's not liking that, by the way. I don't know what's going on with the gimbal, man. But yeah, it caused quite a lot of controversy. Can you guess why? It's supposed to represent a homeless person sleeping on a bench, but the homeless person is Jesus. You see the marks in the feet? So it's supposed to represent Jesus. So it was actually quite a controversial. They've got them in different cities around the world. Madrid, different parts. Look, but look at this. This is my favourite part of it. I don't know if you can see it. But look, this is my favourite part of it on the back. You only see this if you come round the back like I am and be pedantic. Look, can you see it? The love heart. This is deliberate vandalism by the artist. Mary and Joe. Mary and Joseph. Isn't that beautiful? So I do like this statue. As I say, it caused quite a lot of controversy with certain churches because they didn't want Jesus represented by a homeless person. Well, excuse me. Jesus was homeless when he was born. He was born in a manger, in a stable. Jesus God. What was wrong with that? It was actually a local priest. He had to raise £50,000 to get it up, to get it here. And look at this beautiful sandstone building here, everyone. This used to be the stock exchange. Scotland had a stock exchange. It closed down in 1974. Guess what happened in 1974, everyone? Scotland discovered oil and North Sea oil and gas. So they closed down the stock exchange because they didn't want to alert people as to how rich we were. So the stock exchange got moved and taken down to London. So we did have our own stock exchange in Scotland. But they stole our oil and gas from us and hid it for 30 years. Thanks, England. Look here. This is St George's Tron. A Tron is a beam. We'll tell you more about that in a little while, what a Tron is, when we go down to Tron Gate. So St George's Tron used to be a church. It's now home, actually. You must come here if you come through to Glasgow. This is another social enterprise, and it's called the Wild Olive Tree. They do the best soup and scones. So you get soup, there's usually about 3 or 4 or 5 different types of soup on, all homemade. And you get beautiful bread or a scone with it. They also do a salad as well, the Wild Olive Tree Cafe. It's a social enterprise. So look what they do. I'll just show you this back of this sign here. Look. So again, it's like Social Bite. We are a social enterprise cafe. Customer donations allow us to give free soup and drinks to those who can't afford to pay. You can add a donation to your bill if you wish. The best soups and scones in Glasgow. So we start, when I do the 2-week tours, we start in Glasgow. We're here for 3 days, and they have some spare time in Glasgow, and I always recommend them to come here. So if you can't afford to pay, you just come into the back here. See, she's got a back door. So you just go in the side door, and that's where the homeless go to get fed. So you don't ask any questions. You just say, "Can I have some soup, please?" And they don't ask any questions, and they give you some soup for free. I think it's about £5.50 for a bowl of soup and a scone. So it's not too bad. And it's excellent soup as well. Usually like lentil and veg, Moroccan chicken, stuff like that. Excellent little cafe. So if you do come to Glasgow, find your date. It's just next to the train station, by the way. The train station is just here. Glasgow's quite unusual. It's got two train stations. Central Station, where the world's first TV pictures were broadcast, and Queen Street. So this is where you come from Edinburgh. So Queen Street is like the national one. You know, it takes you to places nationally in Scotland. And Central is more local trains. I think it's the busiest station in Scotland, actually, Central. But this is where I come on the train today. So the Scottish Government have taken over ownership of the trains. Now they're called ScotRail. And they used to be owned by a private company, but the Scottish Government took it over. And in Scotland, the train fares are quite expensive in comparison to a lot of places around the world. To come to Edinburgh, which takes 45 minutes to Glasgow, if you went in the morning before 9 o'clock, it would cost you £25. Can you believe it? £25 to go 45 minutes. That was the peak fares. And the off-peak fares were like £12, £13, £14. So the Scottish Government have been doing a trial for the last few months where they scrapped the peak train fares. So no matter what time you go, you get the off-peak prices. You see the Tron Church we just left there. Yeah, this is quite new. They opened this up about a year and a half ago. The Queen Street. The motto of Glasgow is "People make Glasgow." Yeah, this took a few years to make. And yeah, so Glasgow Central Station is like a 10-minute walk. It's like a 10-minute walk. And there is a connecting bus, but you have to walk or get the connecting bus. It's quite strange. And this is George Square. This is the main square in Glasgow. Lots of I think there's 11 statues here. All men, of course, except one, Queen Victoria. Have you heard of the bobbies, the peelers? You know how police officers are called bobbies or peelers? That's because of this guy here, Robert Peel. Politician, and he set up the world's first municipal police organisation as well. the peelers, the bobbies. Bit of a controversial character, right enough. Of course, there she is. The only female statue, and of course, it's the biggest drug dealer in the world, Queen Victoria. Seemingly she was covered in soup. There's protesters going about Edinburgh and Glasgow. Well, there's three main protesters going about just now. There's one for the oil and gas, obviously Gaza, and the other one is cost of living. So yesterday, they sprayed the statue with soup. It seems to have been cleaned. Yeah, they've been attacking statues and all that with soup. They steal soup and stuff. They go out to the supermarkets, right, and steal stuff, like steal food, and then they hand it out for free. So that's quite cool. In fact, I'll go around this way because, yeah, they steal food from the supermarkets and then give it away for free. Isn't that nuts? Yeah, so look at this. It's all concrete, it's all tarmac, isn't it? It's not a very green place, you know. So there's been plans for decades to do something with this. It used to be a lot greener than this. So I think in the next couple of years, all this tarmac will go, because it's a waste. I mean, why is it not all green and trees? And I mean, look at people. It's a beautiful day today. I came prepared for the worst, of course. But look at this, everyone. You've got all these statues, right? And look at the one that's got the grandest position. Their main statue is of an Edinburgh person. Walter Scott. The Glaswegians give pride of place to a man from Edinburgh. I find that so funny with the Glaswegians. Look, can you see them all on the building up there? Quite faded, but yeah, it used to have lovely trees years ago, I know. It used to be very green. So there are plans to do something with it. See on the big building, people make Glasgow. Again, it's like Edinburgh, there's lots of universities here. I'm not sure what percentage of the population is that's connected to the universities, but it's quite a lot. Several universities. One of the oldest in the world, of course, is Glasgow. I think it's the fourth oldest in the world. Glasgow, is it? Is that correct? You can tell I've not done a tour here for a while. The cenotaph in the Glasgow City Chambers. It's got the world's largest marble staircase. They actually do free tours of that, by the way. Again, if you're thinking of coming to Glasgow, it is attracting more and more tourists now, to be honest. But yeah, they do a free tour of the City Chambers at 2:30. So it's first come, first served. So what you do about 2 o'clock, you come to the City Chambers, you go up, just walk through the doors there. Excuse your finger. Then you just walk through the doors, you go to the desk and ask for a ticket for the tour. And it's a free tour. And you get to go around, and the marble staircase is fantastic. The architecture is stunning as well. Built in the late 1800s, 1880 onwards it was built. Beautiful building, but yeah, I've got, there's a really annoying lady who works there. The lady who's on the desk is a battle axe. There's no other word to describe her. And because if you're a tour group, right, you're supposed to pay, and you have to email them like 3 weeks in advance and all this. Well, we don't know how many people are coming on our tours until like a couple of weeks before it. So it's quite hard to organise a tour group, right? So you've got to like, what I do is my tour group, right, I bring them here and I tell them, look, I can't come in with you because the lady knows I'm a tour leader. And if you are part of a tour group, she goes crazy. She chucks you out and everything. She chucks you out. The lady's insane. So I've got to send my tour group in 2 by 2. I say, look, and don't talk to each other. You don't know each other. Just walk in incognito and make out you're not part of a tour group. Because if she gets caught, she chucks us out. She's a nightmare. She's one of these jobs worse, you know. The pigeons enjoying the cenotaph. Yeah, it's very opulent inside it, actually. Yes. Obviously, this is all the war memorials. The Great War, the First World War, of course. They call it the Great... No, the Great War was the Second War, wasn't it? You can tell I've not done this tour for a while, eh? Off it. Off it. Who was this dude again? I think this guy, who's this guy, a chemist? Obviously it's all men. Some of them deserve statues, but some of them were slave owners as well. He was a chemist, Thomas, what's his name? Graham. He was just a chemist guy. There is a statue of Robert Burns here, of course. A lot of, unfortunately, like Edinburgh's Newtown, you know, some of you who have been on my Edinburgh tours will have heard that Edinburgh's Newtown was built on the proceeds of slavery. And unfortunately, Glasgow's the same. Unfortunately, Glasgow's the same. It's especially in the merchant city. Oh, the pigeons, man. The girls having a great time chasing them. Oh, I've just recognised a tour guide. See the girl with the orange jacket on? She's one of our tour guides that we get. When our tour groups comes to Glasgow, we get a panoramic tour of the city. And she's one of the tour guides. And she is a pain in the butt. Oh God, she's never happy. It's usually a girl called Karen I get, a young girl. Ginger hair, she is fantastic. She's so hyper. She needs to stop drinking coffee because she speaks very fast. But she's a really lovely girl. But this one here, she's a nightmare. Nobody gets on with her. She moans about everything like myself. Field Marshal Lord Clyde. He was just obviously some dude from the army. You know, I don't know what he's done to deserve a statue. Probably find out he was a war criminal. Same with this dude here. John Moore, another army dude. But look at that, Sir Walter Scott given the most prominent position. And there he is, the man himself, the Bard. Fair fa, your honest sonsy face, great chieftain of the pudding race. Bought and sold for English gold, such a parcel of rogues in a nation. Robert Burns, the man himself. The third most statued person on the entire planet. Abraham Lincoln was a fan as well. Their buildings there are all banks. Used to be quite a big financial district as well. Still is. Finance is a big employer through in Glasgow as well, to be honest. It's a big, like Edinburgh. Wow, these pigeons are mad. I've just had about 3 pigeons fly into me today. It's crazy, man. So again, this square, like Edinburgh, named after George III. Who, of course, never ever visited Scotland. This man here is a quite important person. This man here is the unit of electricity is named after. James Watt. You know, you've got a 100 watt light bulb? Well, it's named after this man here, James Watt. He invented, of course, the first economical steam engine with a separate condenser, which helped to kick off the industrial revolution, of course. Unfortunately, a lot of his work was built on the proceeds of slavery as well. He was a slave owner, in fact, as was Buchanan. A lot of the street names and statues in Glasgow, unfortunately, are slave owners. And there is an ongoing debate whether or not the statues should come down or the names should be changed. So far, they've kept the names. So this is George Square. As I say, watch the latest Indiana Jones movie. You'll recognise it. World War Z with the midget Tom Cruise. It was filmed here. The bloody art gallery's covered up in scaffolding. So they had a Banksy exhibition here last year. By the way, just as a side note, Glasgow used to be one of the world's most violent cities. One of the world's most violent cities was Glasgow. At one point, there was more murders per head of population in Glasgow than there was in Johannesburg. Remember, Johannesburg was quite a risky place to live. There was a high number of murders and muggings and stabbings and so on. Well, Glasgow was actually worse than Johannesburg for a while. It had a really bad problem with gangs. Poverty as well, all linked to poverty, of course, and drugs. But it's had a complete turnaround in the last sort of 20 years. It's went from being one of the world's most violent cities to being regularly voted the world's friendliest city. So Glasgow, the readers of Rough Guide and so on, they regularly give Glasgow the title of the friendliest city in the world. And it's because of the people. The people do make Glasgow. But the art gallery's covered up in scaffolding. You can't see it, it was built for a slave owner too, the art gallery. But look, the Duke of Wellington. This is Banksy's favourite piece of public art. The Duke of Wellington. He's only got one cone on just now. Try to get a shot with it. Scaffolding, man. Look, with the cone on his head. So this is, you know, that's a very noisy city, isn't it? Like Edinburgh. Very noisy. Yeah, Banksy is an artist, very famous artist. He had an exhibition here last year, and he said that this is his favourite public piece of art in the world, because it started as a tradition in the 1980s. Probably some drunken students were on their way home, of course, and they decided, I'm going to move away from the noise, they decided to put a cone on the statue's head, of course. This is a drunken prank. And no sooner did the people put the cone up, but the local authorities decided to remove the cone. So it became a tit for tat, putting the cones on and off. The council used to spend about £30,000 a year removing the cones from the statue. I can't remember what the record is, it's more than 10. Diane, can you remember what the record is for the number of cones on its head? It's definitely over 11 anyway. Is it 18? I think there's been mixed reports about the record number of cones on his head. They held the Commonwealth Games here, or some championships, European championships or something like that, and they gave him a golden traffic cone. He had a golden cone. So it's very unusual to see that statue without a cone on its head. People were like, whoa, what's happened? I just wonder why people are queued up at the shop here. It must be lunchtime, isn't it? Must be a very popular place. Sprig. Look at this. This must be the local viral place. Today's soup, lentil or tomato, chilli and basil. Oh, it must be the local, the latest trendy place to go. Aye, sometimes they put them on the horse, they put different things on it as well. Obviously the horse is Copenhagen. The Duke of Wellington, of course, on his horse Copenhagen. It was all put up in the early 1800s to celebrate the end of the Napoleonic Wars against the French. But again, look, so this street here is called Hanover Street. Again, it's like Edinburgh. A lot of this city centre was built in the 1800s. And again, it was named after the Hanoverians, George III and his family. So Hanover Street, Ingram Street, this street is called. Of course, Ingram was a slave owner and politician. But yeah, that's the dark side of Glasgow, is the links to slavery, unfortunately. But hey, a lot of countries had a shot at the slavery, didn't they? Including Portugal, the Dutch, the Spanish, the Americans, of course, the Africans. Oliver Cromwell did send some Scottish people off to be what they called indentured servants, which is a form of slavery. But the Scots were never slaves. But they were indentured servants, which meant that you had to work for a period of time for free, usually 7 years. But you did have rights that slaves didn't have. So, again, like Virginia Place, again a nod to the colonies, Virginia, the tobacco. A lot of the proceeds were tobacco, rum, cotton, sugar, slavery, Obviously Scotland got access to the colonies after the 1707. And like Edinburgh, Glasgow's got a particular problem with cyclists on the pavements. So welcome to Glasgow, the home of chicken tikka masala. Did you know the famous Indian dish, chicken tikka masala, was created here in Glasgow? That's right. It's nothing to do with India. There was a Glaswegian Bangladeshi chef called Chef Ali. A customer complained one day that his curry was too dry. So Ali put some tomato soup in it. Tomato soup. He added tomato soup to the curry and chicken tikka masala was born. Isn't that crazy? So it's also the home of Gerard Butler. Ladies, don't get too excited. Gerard Butler. He actually went to theatre school just round the corner actually. Nice building here, hospital, look. 1805. Quite nice, the white building. Quite nice. I do like some of the architecture in Glasgow. It has got some spectacular architecture. It's got a particular problem with gangs. You know, the gangsters. Yeah, a lot of the big crime gangs are linked to Glasgow. And yeah, it has got its social problems, shall we say. It's got about 25% of the population living in poverty. It's quite high in some areas. There is a lot of poverty, there is a lot of wealth, like Edinburgh, but there is a lot of inequality as well. In fact, I think this was a theatre here. Give a turn right here. Is it, I've got turned down the right one. I think this is where Gerard Butler went to theatre school here. I think it's this one. Believe it or not, my actually very first tour, when I became a tour guide, I was training with Invisible Cities, and my first tour was going to be on train spotting in Leith. But we were actually doing a I messed up. Maybe it's not that one. And yeah, Zaki asked me to do a tour in Glasgow. It's changed names. And so my very first walking tour was actually in Glasgow. Look at that Amsterdam pub. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If somebody asks you if you want a Glasgow kiss, and you say no, because as inviting as it may sound, it's actually a headbutt. Yeah, so you don't want to have, you don't want to be asked, would you like a Glasgow kiss, big man? Say no. It's also home to Tennant's Brewery. Tea for Tennant's. I actually don't like it. Tennant's Lager is probably the biggest selling alcohol drink in Scotland. I don't like it, to be honest. It's not my favourite lager. It's too weak. It's like 4.1% or something like that. Glasgow's got one really exciting thing that no other city has. It's got a library dedicated to ladies. The Glasgow's Women's Library. Yep. The Glasgow Women's Library. Unique to Glasgow. So we're now in the heart of the merchant city. It's got a art street mural trail as well, by the way. Might see some on the way around the streets. I can see one on the wall actually. Yeah, they do street mural walks, tours as well. So if you want to, if street art is your thing, you can come and do tours of the murals, like this one here. Look. Not as bad as a Glasgow smile. Yeah. That's when they cut your cheeks, your lips, the side of your mouth. You see the murals. So they've got one in Billy Connolly, St Mungo, St Enoch. and so on, the patron saint of Glasgow. Glasgow means Green Valley, Glasgow. The patron saint, so actually look, see we're now in the heart, and there's another one on the wall, can you see it? We're now in the heart of the merchant city, Merchant Square, so this whole area here, everything here was built on the proceeds of slavery, everything, unfortunately. But it was a long time ago. Nobody is alive today was responsible. You see up there? Can you see it? It looks like a Banksy, doesn't it? I don't know if it is. Now look. Rebuilt in 1886. Merchant Square. It's all mostly restaurants now. There is there's a lot of financial investment companies, insurance companies, banking and so on. In fact, Mother India, where's that? There's a fantastic Indian restaurant here called Mother India. Is it just right here? You know the Scottish pop singer, Lewis Capaldi? His favourite restaurant in the world is Mother India, the Indian place in Glasgow. It is fantastic actually. There's Marshanta, we used to go there for one of our tours. Marshanta restaurant. If you don't go there, don't get the fish and chips. They're not the best. And here's anyone who likes to learn about the police museum. They've got a free police museum here as well. See it? In Glasgow Aid. I think that was the very first one in Scotland. And LGBT youth here as well. So nice red sandstone here in Glasgow. This comes from the west coast. Remember in Edinburgh you've got some red sandstone. Cafe Gandolfi's a famous cafe as well. Yeah, Edinburgh's got some red sandstone because they ran out of the yellow stuff and then they had to start getting in some. So it's very similar, the red sandstone. Comes from Dumfries area on the southwest, Robert Burns' territory. Comes from down that way. God, my asthma's been quite bad today. You can see. Just wondering another food stop, another food place here. The food stop. Ah, look, that's why it's busy. Look how cheap it is. Lentil soup, chicken noodle, $1.90. See, that's really cheap. $1.60 for a ham roll. So on. £3 for a baked potato with cheese. That's why it's busy. It's cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Yeah, Glasgow can be. It's like Edinburgh. You can find a lot of places that are quite expensive. Restaurants. But you can find some really cheap places as well. Here we go. Look at this. It's actually, Diane's saying the city looks lovely and clean. A lot of the locals have been complaining recently that it's actually quite bad. It has got a really bad reputation of being not clean and dirty, right? Well, I've never seen it like that. I've always thought it was quite a nice, clean city as myself. But it has got a reputation. Look at this. Little steeple tower. They all got knocked down here. You should see what they've done. Diane knows what it was like here. They used to carry out punishments here. I'll tell you about this in a minute. We're going to go into the salt market area. In Glasgow Green. This is a Tron. But it's just to show you this, look. Like Edinburgh. Look, it's got a cat cafe. The Purple Cat Cafe. It's all rescue cats. You can go in. Well, it's £8 per person. So you've got to pay £8 and then buy your food on top of it. And then, oh, there's a wee pussycat there. Hello, pussycat. Hello. There's one sleeping above it as well. You can't see it. What's the cat's following me? Look at the cat following me. Follow us on social media. Purple Cat Cafe. Facebook, Instagram. I don't know what the other two symbols mean. Snapchat. TikTok, I'm not sure. See, look, there's loads of cats sleeping. Please don't tap the glass. The glass. What does your training involve with training a tour guide? I'm just here for one session, Mark. They get lots of different sessions. So there you go. Ah, look, a quiz with the cats. Quizzes with the cats. Every Thursday. So you can have a quiz. Give me coffee and cats. Or give me death. Oh, the gimbal's playing up. What's going on with the gimbal today, man? It's not liking this angles. Give me coffee and cats, or give me death. So if you do come through to Glasgow and want to sit with cats, if that's your thing. Oh, look at that lovely city there. I don't know how comfy it would be. It looks quite nice. Yeah, they get different training sessions. They'll get like public speaking. I'm just going through. I think they're wanting me to just like tell them about my life as a guide. So I'll give them like give them hints and tips on how to become a tour guide. Sometimes I do sessions with them where they get to choose one of their favourite objects from their house, and then they have to write a 3 or 4 minute presentation about it. Things like that. So when I done my tour guide training, you had to choose something from like the museum or a building or something like that. And then you have to stand up and do a presentation in front of the class. But to make it easier for the tour guides, we get them to do it with their favourite object, because you don't want to overwhelm them, you know. This is the Tron Gate area. Will they pay my train fare? Yeah, I hope so. I'll need to pay my taxi back as well, so I'll need to get a taxi back to the train station. So this is where this is now a theatre, the Tron Gate Theatre. This is where the police were set up. Yeah. One second, everyone. There's so much scaffolding up. There's so much development going on in Glasgow just now as well. Yeah, nice bar inside. Yeah, 1829, this is where the first police force was set up as well. And as I said, this is called the Tron Gate area. Tron means beam, and gate is a Norse term for road. So this is the street that leads to the Wain beam, the Tron. Glasgow was actually seen as the second city of the empire as well. It used to be, they should have seen what they've done to this. This was a beautiful place here before, and they've knocked it all down. So this is like one of the oldest streets in Glasgow here. So along here is towards the Barras. So the Barras is a famous music venue in Glasgow, and it's where Oasis became famous. Oasis were discovered here. Oh no, that was King Tut's Wah Wah. I'm talking nonsense. But yeah, the Barras is a dance, used to be a dance hall, like a ballroom place. It got burnt down in the 1930s and rebuilt. And it's a famous music venue. You have from Bruce Springsteen, Bowie, you name it, U2. And it just got voted a couple of weeks ago, last week, the second best music destination. Was it the world or Europe? I can't know if it was the world or Europe. Anyway, just got voted one of the second best musical venue, either in Europe or the world. So this tower here. Oh, the market, sorry, yes, Diane, remembered. Yeah, the market's not as big as it used to be. They used to have a famous market called the Barras. It's still on. The Barra is a barrow. And yeah, it's got and that's where you can pick up really cheap stuff. I don't know if they still do the butcher's van. Do they still do it? You don't know, Diane. I'm asking Diane. She's not lived here since when. But yeah, the Barras market. It's just like a 5-minute walk along there. 5 minutes. 10 at the most if you're a slow walker. But yeah, this tower here, there used to be a church here. This dates back to 1628 actually. They used to hang people. What window was it? Used to hang people. One of the windows, man, isn't it? This is quite a dodgy area to cross here, actually. Ah. '93. Try to cross the road without getting killed here. There's so many vehicles come from different directions here, you've got to watch. So see here, I'll show you this. Artie's from Glasgow, by the way, just in case you're wondering. So this is where they used to hang, execute people and torture them and so on, the Mercat Cross. If you look above the door, you can see the Scottish motto, Nemo me, impune lacusette. No one strikes me with impunity. In other words, if you hit me, I'll hit you back twice as hard. So this is one of the oldest streets in Glasgow. Yeah, the Glasgow Gate. Yeah, this is the Glasgow Gate, the road that led to the gallows. So this was one of the oldest streets. Oh, I can smell burnt toast. What's that burnt toast smell? Is that the brewery? Burnt toast. So you see the Mercat Cross. I would like you to do tours of apartments. Oh, by the way, I've just remembered. It used to be like it, you know, Candlemaker Row in Edinburgh. You've got Candlemaker Row just at the Grass Market, linking Greyfriars to the Grass Market. There used to be a lot of candle makers in this area as well. It's called candle rigs. And they became part of the merchant city. But guess what? It was actually one of the world's first ever takeaway shops was launched here. It was like a fast food shop. Granny Black, do you remember her, Diane? Granny Black shop? You'll not remember it, of course, but hearing about it. Yeah, it's kind of like the world's first fast food takeaway place. She used to sell pies and sell them to the workers. As I said, Glasgow became known as the second city of the British Empire. It did, in all honesty, compete with Birmingham. Birmingham and Glasgow used to compete with each other for which city was the second city of the empire after London. Glasgow is built on the Clyde. There's a river that separates Glasgow called the River Clyde. As I mentioned earlier, Glasgow is kind of divided by poverty, and it's also divided by sectarianism. In the 1850s, when the island was suffering from the so-called famine, it wasn't a famine, it was a genocide, up to 200,000 people from Ireland moved to Glasgow. Smaller numbers moved to Edinburgh, but there was over 200,000 people. Aha! Hello there! I'll go there. There's a girl from Soul Sisters. So me, I can't even come to Glasgow and get recognised through in Glasgow as well. Arte. I'm just going over to see my friend here. She runs the Soul Food Sisters Cafe. It's a social enterprise run by ladies who are all refugees. Hello! How's it going?
Oh my goodness! Oh, you're keeping well.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good
How
to
are
see
you?
you. I'm doing okay.
Good. So when is?
I
Are you
know.
back?
I'm not coming back.
No. Okay.
I don't think so. I told Louise a couple of days ago.
Okay.
I've started my own company now, you know.
Oh, really?
I've started doing my own tours in Edinburgh.
Oh, good. Good.
So I want to do that instead of doing the 2-week tours, you know.
Okay.
But they're not happy with me.
Really? Wow.
Do you want to tell them what you do, by the way?
Yeah.
Hiya.
Hi.
Tell them your name.
Jamila from Solfit System here.
Hello. This is my friend here.
Hi.
She runs the Soul Food Sisters Cafe.
Yes, we do. We are a social enterprise and we support women, migrant women generally. And the project was established in 2012, 2013, when a group of women they were facing so many obstacles. So we are here just to support women.
Wow. See. And all the women are refugees from all different parts of the world,
Yes,
eh?
yeah, they are. We do work with the local people as well. So it's a mix of the refugees, asylum seekers, and the local people.
Refugees, asylum seekers. Yeah, they do a fantastic. And by the way, the shop's just up round the corner next to the bar. It's called Soul Sisters. They've got a website as well.
Yes, we do
You can go and support them. They sell different merchandise and so on the website as well. And we go on our tours. The food is fantastic. So if you're in Glasgow, if you're near the bars, you must find your way to the Soul Sisters Cafe and come and taste their food. It's fantastic. And you do outdoor catering as well, don't you now?
Yes, we do. We run a company which delivers services. We cater for big conferences, weddings, and small meetings. So please have a look at our website and hopefully we'll see you all soon.
Yeah, hey, thank you so much. So nice to see you as well, by the way.
Nice to see you
I'll pop
too.
through this year. I'm going through to do some training with Invisible Cities.
Amazing, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. So are you dashed back with the...
Yeah, I'm still doing. They're trying to recruit some tour guides for Glasgow.
Amazing.
So they've asked me to come through and do some training sessions with them in Glasgow. You know, so I'm still involved with Zakia. I met you all through Zakia, through Invisible Cities.
Yeah.
We used to come through and do talks in the cafe, and then take them for a little tour round about Glasgow. And then we started using Soul Sisters on my 2-week tours as well. So are you still doing them this year?
Yes.
Still
yes,
doing
the
them?
contract has been extended to 24-25, which is just amazing.
Oh, that's good then. So you're coming back.
This group will come to Solfit System by the 9th of April. So hopefully we'll see more.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry to hear that you are not going to
I know, but I'll come through. I'll still come through, you know. I'll still come through. I'm going to head off, Jamila. It's so nice to see you, pal. Take care. It's amazing. I can't even come to Glasgow and I'm getting accosted in the streets. Yeah, Soul Sister, they do a fantastic job. Her name's Jamelia. She does a fantastic job. It's all refugee and the food is all handmade. So it's ladies from India, Morocco, Algeria. Ah, the food is fantastic. And yeah, Jamelia does a very good job. So see here, a nice fish market here. So you get really cheap fish in here, by the way. If you want to come through and you're not on vacation, well, if you've got an Airbnb apartment or something, you can buy lovely fresh seafood produce here. And this area I've called the Salt Market. The area we're in now is called the Salt Market. And you can guess why it's called Salt Market, yeah. Market sells salt. Mostly, salt is mostly used to keep the fish fresh. Usually salmon. But see this street here? See that lovely lady Jamelia? This street here is called St Andrew Street. And you've all heard me in Edinburgh talking about Clarinda. You know the one-time muse of Robert Burns? Agnes MacLehose, who met Robert Burns in a Edinburgh Tea Party. She was a poet as well. Well, this is where she was born. St Andrew Street. The houses are gone. But yes, Carinda, Agnes MacLehose, was born on this street here in Glasgow. How incredible is that? She's buried in the Tron Gate graveyard in Edinburgh, for those of you who remember on my tours. She famously refused to sleep with Robert Burns because she was married, although she was separated from her estranged husband, who was living in Jamaica. And she refused to sleep with Robert Burns, so he slept with her maid instead and got her maid pregnant. Hi, buddy. Yeah.
Welcome to Glasgow.
Welcome to Glasgow. People make Glasgow. People make Glasgow, buddy. Friendliest city in the world. That's what I'm saying, man. People will just stop you. They'll either give you a nice word or they'll want to mug you. Ah, look. Let's stop and get a hit, man. All the bongs and grinders. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. The food in Soul Sisters is fantastic, by the way. We make these little cakes like shortbread, but with no butter. They just use oil. They taste so much like shortbread, but vegans can eat them because there's no butter in them. I can't remember what they're called. These little biscuits. Excuse me, I'm going to have to take my inhaler. Yeah, my asthma's been bad today. For some reason. The stoner shop. Watch out for the cars. Jamelia. I remember years ago I was travelling in a camper van, right? I bought a one-way ticket from Edinburgh to France, and I didn't know where I was going. Anyway, I ended up in Spain. So I'm sitting on the beach. Well, I'm sitting just next to the beach. Excuse me. In my camper van reading a book. It's about 2005. So I'm sitting in my camper van, middle of nowhere in Spain, reading a book. The door's open in the van, and all I've heard is, Paul! Paul! And I'm like that, I've looked up. This girl shouting at me, Paul! Paul, how you doing, Paul? I'm like that, I've not got a clue who this girl was. And she's with a guy, and the guy's not looking too happy, because this girl was quite pleased to see me. And I'm like that. I got a clue. It turns out she worked in a building. I used to work in the Scottish Government building in Leith as the gardener stroke handyman. And I was the only gardener. So there was 1,500 people worked there. So all the people in the office knew me because I was the gardener. You know, I was the only gardener there. So everyone knew me. Of course, I didn't have a clue who half them were. So yeah, it turned out this girl recognised me from the job in Scotland, and I had no idea who she was. It was mental. By the way, you don't want to go in all these places. That's all the High Court buildings around here. If you get into trouble, the High Court building is just behind that. So it's all lawyers and solicitor offices here as well. River Clyde over there. The SCCC. The RNLI. So here we are in the Claren Arch. One second, everyone. No! The gimbal's got a mind of its own today. What's going on with this gimbal today? It's got a mind of its own. So this is the McLaren Arch. Oh, gee, this is Glasgow's Arc de Triomphe. This is Glasgow Green, by the way, we're coming into. You'll see a statue of a lady. There's only, like Edinburgh, there's only a couple of statues of ladies here. But this is the McLaren Arch. Actually, believe it or not, this used to be the entrance to a nightclub in Glasgow. And it got demolished. And it's named after a guy called James McLaren, he had actually paid for the arch to be moved to a different location previously in 1893, which you can see on the wall, the arch, sorry. And he paid for it to get moved. So this is now its third location. Its third location is here. So it's called the McLaren Arch. The McLaren Arch. Woo! Oops, sorry man, the gimbal's playing up today. And they got funding to do up the People's Palace. Have they got it at last? Wee boy. Yeah, like Edinburgh, Glasgow hasn't got a fair representation of the numbers of females. They have lots of like festivals here. This is actually Peggy Herbison. She was actually a politician from 1944 to 1970. She lived to a fair old age, 89. She died in 1996. She was the only female at the Council of Europe, the first lady to serve as Lord High Commissioner to the Church of Scotland. And she was a child of a coal miner. And Maggie Thatcher took an instant dislike to her. She was, in fact, Maggie Thatcher said, this lady here, Peggy Herbison, Margaret Thatcher, remember the Iron Lady? She said that the only lady that she was ever scared of was this lady here, because she was such a campaigner for rights for the people, you know. Let's go up here. I'm just going to go this way. You can see the River Clyde is on the right hand side down there. I'll see if I can spot the nice bridge to go over. There is a nice bridge down here, but the problem is with Glasgow, there's so much to see. You need to like, you need to have like you do several different tours here to see different parts of Glasgow. You know, like the cathedral and so on. Hey Beck. God, I'm still going after an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, they had the Commonwealth Games here, 2014. Glasgow became the world's first city of music. Glasgow's starting to attract more tourists now. And but it's been the last sort of 20-30 years, it's became famous for concert venues, gigs, live music, clubs, conferences as well. It's a massive conference city. But the last sort of 5-10 years, it's became very popular for tourists. It has got the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum as well. You've got the Kelvin Grove, and that's I think it takes over 1 million visitors actually. You need a week to, yeah I know. Well, you could just continually do tours around Glasgow. It's that popular. And it's that big as well, you know. It's a much more spread out city than Edinburgh, of course. So this is the oldest park in Glasgow, Glasgow Green. I said here earlier. It got a lot of funding from the lottery funding. So lots of demonstrations get held here. There is even a golf course, markets, concerts, and there's an old lawing place as well, by the way. Harking back to the olden days when people lived in slum conditions. That you know, I don't know if we'll get to see it actually. There's an area still set aside where anyone in Glasgow is entitled to hang out their washing. An ancient law that anyone in Glasgow is allowed to hang out their washing on Glasgow Green. That still exists today. There's an area set up with, it's still got the old poles and that on it. City of Culture. Yeah, what was that? What was that again? Was it 90, 94, 90 something? I can't remember. But yeah, it's all changed in Glasgow. It's like everywhere, you know, your time has to move on. It's still got its problems. As I said, it's got a big drug problem, big homeless problem, street begging as well. Like all big cities, it's got its problems, but the people are really fantastic here. The only time not to come, as I was touched on earlier, it's a city divided by sectarianism. With all the Irish immigrants coming here in the 1800s, Scotland was obviously a Presbyterian Protestant country, and the Catholics were heavily discriminated against. So Edinburgh already had a Catholic soccer team called Hibernian, the team I support, formed by Irish Catholic immigrants in 1875, and in 1888 the Catholics in Glasgow, right, had started going to Protestant soup kitchens. And so the Glasgow Catholics asked Hibernian, the soccer team, to come through to Glasgow to raise money for the Catholic soup kitchens. So Hibernian came through to Glasgow to play a charity match to raise funds for the Catholics. And there was a monk there called Brother Winifred. And he decided to set up a soccer team like Hibernian. He had to be a practicing Catholic. They were going to be called Glasgow Hibernian actually, but he thought it was too similar to the Edinburgh Hibernian, so they changed it to Glasgow Celtic with a K, and then it became Glasgow Celtic with a C. Glasgow Celtic. So if you're a Catholic, you in Glasgow or the West Coast, you tend to support Celtic, and the Protestants tend to support Rangers. So the only time you do not want to come to Scotland, to Glasgow, is when there is a Celtic v Rangers soccer match playing. It can be quite violent, shall we say. People still get murdered over it. People still get murdered over it, can you imagine? Over a soccer game. It's insane. Jamelia was asking if I'm coming back to do the tours. This is the People's Palace. Billy Connolly's banana boots were kept here. I'm not sure if they still are. So people from Glasgow are called Glaswegians, which gets abbreviated by people from outside Glasgow to Weegies. W-E-E-G-I-E, a Ouija. Some people think it's derogatory. It's not really. It's just a nickname. They call us Edinburghers. So there is a bit of rivalry between Edinburgh and Glasgow, of course. Most of it's friendly, again, unless it's connected to the soccer. So I does. As Diane was saying, the People's Palace was allowed to get into a state of disrepair by the previous administration. It got run down for decades, no money invested in it. But I think they found money to do it up again. So that's good. Public hangings used to take place here. Got a dark side as well. There's a coach party away. The coach parties come here to look at the fountain and then go. Usually on the way back from visiting the cathedral, you come here. So when I come to Glasgow, we start off on a panoramic coach tour. We go to Glasgow Cathedral, and then come here, and then go to Soul Sisters for lunch. So the coach parties tend to do all the same thing. Cathedral, Fountain, Kelvin Grove, University. Oh, I'm getting quite knackered now actually. Oh, look, you've got little standing stones here. Never seen that before. Look, how can I get in? Ah, there's no gate here. Oh well. Yeah, they used to have public hangings here. The last one was, I think it was 1865, was the last public hanging here. 1865. Aye, 10,000 people turned up. And it was the hanging of a guy called Dr. Edward Pritchard, who was condemned to death for killing his wife and his mother-in-law. He became known locally as the human crocodile, as he insisted on her coffin being opened at the funeral, and he kissed her goodbye with tears streaming down his face. Turns out that he had poisoned his wife because she had discovered him having an affair. And then he poisoned his mother-in-law for inheritance. Hangings didn't stop, of course. They just took it to, like Edinburgh, they took it to different prisons, including Duke Street, Barlinnie, which is still open as well. You see the fountain? It's the largest terracotta fountain in the world. Well, remaining, anyway. Terracotta, it's all linked to the Empire, with Queen Victoria at the top, look. Go around here. The People's Palace there as well. Look, the skies are looking quite dark. I didn't bring my umbrella today. Yeah, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Let's see if I can get a good picture. So see Queen Victoria sits at the top. Aye, so if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it amongst your friends. So this is called the Doulton Fountain. It used to be in Kelvin Grove Park in 1888. It got moved to Glasgow Green in 1990, but it got moved about again, and it's only been here since 2004. And the fountain depicts Britain's the 4 colonies: Australia, Canada, India and South Africa. The soldiers and sailors above and Queen Victoria at the top. It's 14 metres high. The largest in the world, as I said. I'll go in for a closer look here. So I think it must be under maintenance. There's no water in it. Maybe they turn it off in the winter. You can see the Indian guy, the Sikh with his turban on. See that? Different soldiers. Of course. Let's have a walk around it. I'm assuming it's gone under maintenance, so it's looking quite bad. Could you do interviews with our tour guides? There's other people that do that, Mark. It's not really my cup of tea. I find that quite narcissistic, actually. As if people are interested. Maybe they are, I don't know. But yeah. I did do something once with I interviewed the Invisible Cities guides before. I took Invisible Cities guides on a Hago tour before. Doesn't look as high as 14 metres, eh? 14 metres. I wish the fountain was on. It would be nicer for you. You see all the different characters, the 4 continents. Oh, Sticky Vicky at the top. I wonder if that counts as a statue actually. See Queen Victoria's at the top. I wonder if that counts as a standalone statue. Joint tours is good. Yeah, see the thing is, man, it's hard to get. You don't make any money doing this, hardly, you know. I basically do this out of the goodness of my heart. Thanks very much to all the people who do tip and sponsor, right enough. Yeah, you don't make much money. It's not like Hago anymore. You don't make the money like you used to. So yeah, it's like a balance in that. You know, you've got to weigh up whether you want to do it just for fun or as a kind of service to the people and things like that. You know. I've got some sponsors as well. Thanks very much to anyone who does sponsor me. Much appreciated. Anyone who's left a tip or a donation as well. Every small amount is fantastic. I've not seen this before. Let's see this little statue here. Just noticed it's supposed to be Peter Pan. Artie, is this Peter Pan? No, Peter Pan, the Pied Piper. I'm saying Peter Pan, the Pied Piper. Look. It's like the Pied Piper, you know. Oh, that's a squirrel. I don't know what this statue is. There's nothing on it either. Well, I'll need to find out what that statue is the next time. I've never noticed it before. It's got like squirrels on it. Here's building behind. Yeah. The Templeton building should be a carpet factory. Look at it. This is where I think I'm going. With the Invisible Cities. I'm going to be there at 2 o'clock. What's the time? What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Remember that? The kids. Oh, it's actually quite hot now. The sun, I've got my scarf on. I think it's new, yeah. I've never even seen that one before. Look at this building. Ah, here's a bit with the poles here for the drying green. Yeah, we did get to see it. Look. Look, you see the drying poles, the hanging out poles. Got half an hour, that's alright. I want to get something to eat but as well. Look. See on the pole, can you see them? I'll go over a bit. Look at this building, but used to be a carpet factory. Beautiful, isn't it? I can't remember what it's based on again. Artie, what's the information behind this again? I've just completely forgotten. See, sometimes when you're a tour guide, right, you've got that much information. I haven't done a tour in Glasgow since... I can't remember the last time I done a tour here. And you forget a lot of information. You see the poles for hanging up your clothes. So you can still do that today. Anyone in Glasgow can come out and hang their washing up. Fantastic, isn't it? So we've got a tour tomorrow. Got the red bricks in it. Yeah, it used to be a carpet factory. It's all like offices and all that now. I've got no idea how you get in. Let's have a walk around the front. But it's a beautiful day today. Thanks very much for coming on my tour, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed the tour of Glasgow today. Even though I'm not a local, as I said, this is the very first place I done my very first walking tour was in Glasgow. It was quite funny because I didn't know whether to go left or right. Zakia had to walk in front of me and tell me where to go. I knew all the places we were going. But I just had to rehearse from home, you know, because it's too far away to come to Glasgow. So when I done the tour in Glasgow, I knew where we were going and what to talk about, but I didn't know how to get there. Quite funny. Kids' play park there. That looks quite a good park, eh? For the kids. Excelente. So this is half an hour walk to the city centre, it says here. 27 minutes walk. Again, there's the People Make Glasgow. One of my friends runs a homeless organisation here called Blank Faces. Blank Faces. It's basically for, they work with homeless people. It's like art students. Art students, they work with homeless people to design products. So they design t-shirts, sweatshirts, clothes, stuff like that. And they plagiarised the motto of Glasgow, People Make Glasgow. But they changed it to People Make Mistakes. People make mistakes. How cool is that? It is the Pied Piper. I thought that. But why was it? He never had squirrels. Did the Pied Piper have squirrels? This, in memory of James Martin, old magistrate. Nice, eh? Susan, thank you, Susan. Hope you enjoyed the tour of Glasgow today. I'm going to have to go because I need to find a restroom. I need to find a restroom. Look at this. Coffee on the green. Wonder if they've got a restroom. So I hope you've enjoyed the tour today, everyone. Thank you so much for calling my tour, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the tour today. I've got a tour tomorrow in Edinburgh, and I'm going to be talking mostly about females of Edinburgh tomorrow in Scotland and beyond. So hopefully you can join me tomorrow. Glasgow's but the difference is with this one is the people chose the motto. It was a public decision. So that was good. It was actually the people of Glasgow that made that one. People Make Glasgow. And coming from a person from Edinburgh, I do totally agree with that. So please, if you do come to Scotland, come to Edinburgh, go up north. But yeah, you can come to Glasgow for a day or two. That's worth coming here. So hopefully you can join me tomorrow, some of you. It's back to a later, I think it's 2:30 tomorrow, I think it is, I can't remember. But anyway, hopefully you can join me tomorrow. I look forward to seeing some of you then. But have a wonderful day, what's left of it, or evening. And hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.